Welcome to HB Reddit Stories. Today we will see stories of r/am I the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for wasting everyone's time in therapy because I was accused of lying? My mom, her husband, and I, 16F, are in group therapy with each other. We started therapy a few weeks after Father's Day, because that was the final straw for them to insist we all needed therapy to work on why I won't let us be the family they want. We started at the end of July, and by the end of August my mom accused me of lying, called me a liar, and laid out this really big sob story about how much it hurt to have me lie to her and do everything in my power to destroy her marriage. It pissed me off so bad. I didn't lie at any point of this. I said as much in the follow-up session, and the therapist asked me to outline my side and how I felt having mom call me a liar. My mom kept trying to interrupt me. She told the therapist to shut up, and she accused me of being a vicious liar then. To give some explanation about the situation. My mom and her husband got married 3 years ago. They moved in together 2 months before. Before moving in, they sat me down and asked me if I was okay with us moving in together and making a family of 3 again. Mom brought up how we'd have a man around the house again, my dad died, and how good it would be for her to have a husband and for me to have a dad, and he said he couldn't wait to be my dad and he always wanted to be a dad. He said he already had plans for us for Father's Day. This was February of 3 years ago. I told them I wasn't okay with that stuff. That I didn't want another dad, wouldn't let him be my dad, and was not about to spend Father's Day celebrating someone who isn't dad. They started laughing and proceeded as normal, but Father's Day became a struggle because I have not spent the day with him the last 3 years, and he has tried, so has my mom. I meant what I said. I never called him dad or let him fill the role in my life. This year he snapped and he had a temper tantrum and said I was supposed to be with him on Father's Day and not spending the day alone, and he didn't sign up to be nothing to me. My mom called me a liar because she said I promised to develop a close relationship with her husband and that I said yes to wanting what they asked. She said I had said I would give him Father's Day, and I lied, and I have not followed through on any of it. She said I made them think I would be a willing participant and I wanted us to be a family. It pissed me off because I never said what she claims, and I even repeated what I had said back then. The therapist couldn't get mom to apologize, and she has no control over the sessions where my mom and her husband dominate. So I'm totally silent and I zone out. They only realized this 2 weeks ago. They called me on it, and I spoke up again after more than a month of no talking in therapy, to confirm I wasn't listening, and it came up last week, and I said I was done engaging because I was owed an apology for being called a liar. My mom and her husband are pissed that I'm wasting everyone's time letting therapy happen. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole. I'm surprised the therapist is still taking the sessions. They must need the money pretty badly. Your parents, like so many before them, aren't after therapy, where you have to work on your own crap. They want a wizard who can change reality for them, and maybe change you for someone who wants to call your mom's husband dad. Good luck with it all. Opie replies. The therapist is pretty young, so maybe she's new and doesn't want to fail at one of her first set of clients. Otherwise, I don't get why she'd keep us either when she was literally told to shut up, and not in a nice, I got this way. But like legit shut up, we're talking kind of way. Not the a-hole. It took multiple sessions to notice you weren't paying attention anymore after the incident. I think that shows where their attention lies. Opie replies. Yep. They're too busy talking to notice. Not the a-hole. Accused of lying for sticking to the truth. Sounds like someone's rewriting history in group therapy, but they forgot you've got the receipts. Opie replies. Yep. Accused of lying because things are exactly like I said they'd be, and that wasn't what they wanted. My mom really doesn't know me if she thought she could say I was lying, call me a liar really passionately, and have me invest in any of this. Next story. Am I the a-hole for bringing up just how much I actually do for our household to my wife? My wife, 41F, and I, 42M, have been married for 15 years. I apparently surprised her by being capable of doing household chores and tasks, which I didn't think much of. My mom always asked me to help out with chores when I was a kid, so I didn't think it was beneath me or anything. I do think I inherited her need to clean excessively, like it's so bad that I can't eat until a mess is dealt with. My mom is an amazing cook, my aunt was a literal chef at a fancy hotel, and my dad loved having barbecues. It was pretty natural to learn from them and pick up a thing or two. The only thing I didn't pick up was how to make a decent cup of tea or coffee. I'm genuinely awful at it. It got to a point where I was handling most of the household chores and taking care of cooking, which I prefer anyways since she comes home exhausted. I've been asking our children, 11F and 9M, to do some minor tasks around the house and hopefully teach them this sort of thing too. She has a group of friends who hang out regularly. This time it was her turn to host the group at her home. I offered to take our children out for the day, and it was all set. Before we left, I had to finish up some things for work. The office space is practically on top of our living room, so I could hear what they were talking about the entire time. One of the friends asked how she always kept our house so spotless, and my wife just bragged about how she was responsible for it all. Then they all started talking about their gripes with their marriages. A common theme was how unhelpful their spouses were. I felt pretty uncomfortable, so I just left the office and went out with the kids. I came back after they had left for the night and acted as normal until we got to our bedroom. I asked her what was up with that conversation they had and pointed out that I did the cooking and cleaning in our marriage. She told me not to take it personally, and that she just wanted to fit in with the struggles of her friends. Now I just feel unappreciated, especially since I don't clearly remember any genuine gratitude for what I do from her. Since then, she's been pretty short with me. She says I'm weaponizing what I'm doing against her and holding it over her head. I didn't intend for that or to make her feel guilty at all. I don't expect her to compliment me each time I clean or defend me religiously, just a little. My husband is pretty helpful actually, he does his share, would be nice. I can't help but feel like her friends think I'm some sort of deadbeat who comes home to relax and neglect her. Top comments. Not the a-hole. My wife gets those convos and just bows out saying she doesn't have those problems and we split chores equally. It's not hard to do. Then she commiserates with me about other people's very strange life decisions. If her friends were talking about cheating, would she be trying to fit in there too? Not the a-hole. For so many reasons. First, Opie, you are not pretty helpful. You are not helping her, you are being an A+ partner and you are responsible for the majority of cleaning and cooking. Maybe she helps you? Is she doing her share? Just something to think about. Don't undersell yourself here. Second, your wife may think she is trying to fit in, but what she actually doing is reinforcing a very tiresome gender dynamic that leads to relationship conflict. If these are her friends, the better thing to do is to model an equal and non-gendered home life. Not to hide it and act like it's some weird unicorn occurrence. Normalize men owning the responsibilities of their home life. Third, of course your feelings were hurt by what she said and did not say and the implications that silence has on how her friends view you. Do not let her twist this on you. That's a red flag. She's being defensive and is the one weaponizing her hurt feelings against your completely legitimate discomfort with being disrespected and misrepresented in your own home. Update. I'm pretty shocked this post went as viral as it did, and I tried my best to speak to my wife yesterday. I just can't believe that this is the woman I married. I tried speaking with her, telling her that what she did wasn't that big of a deal but was still not a nice thing to do. She didn't like me bringing it up again and just told me to suck it up and stop complaining about one mistake. She apologized, but in a tone that just sounded like she was just tired of dealing with this. I noticed her getting very heated and on the verge of starting an argument, so I backed off and switched to a different topic. I asked if we could adjust our duties at home to be more fair for both of us, since most of our management fell to me. I mean pretty much 90% of things like cooking/cleaning, including planning for our date nights or vacations for our family, rely on me. I do think it's an issue that she gets to come home and just tell me that she's tired. Then she got up in my face, telling me I had no right to lecture her about chore duties when I'm practically at home most of the time. She completely refused to hear me out and basically told me that what we have works best for our situation. She threw me in my face that she was the moneymaker and that balanced everything out in the end. Even this morning she was pretty annoyed with me, coming downstairs in a bad mood. I'm very sure our kids noticed it too, but I drove them to school after they got ready. When I got back I noticed that my wife left her packed lunch on our kitchen counter. So now I'm sitting here, just feeling like the woman I've known for 15 years hates me. She's been ignoring my texts and attempts to call her. I guess I'll have to push this issue properly even if she gets angry. I can't just let her act like this, especially in front of our children. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to host Thanksgiving after being stuck with it for the past 5 years? I, 38M, have been hosting Thanksgiving for my family every year since I bought my house 5 years ago. This includes my parents, siblings, their spouses, kids, and occasionally extended family. In total, it's about 20 people. I don't mind cooking, but the problem is no one ever helps. I do all the grocery shopping, meal prep, cooking, and the massive cleanup afterward. Last year, I asked for help, but everyone either ignored me or gave some lame excuse like, I'm not good in the kitchen, or I don't know how to cook. Meanwhile, they're sitting around while I'm running around the kitchen all day. After the meal, same thing. They sit around chatting and drinking while I'm the only one cleaning up. So this year, I said enough is enough. I told them I'm not hosting Thanksgiving. I suggested someone else step up, or we could split the cost of catering. Cue the drama. My siblings flipped out, complaining about how it's tradition for me to host. My mom called me selfish, and my aunt said I was ruining Thanksgiving for the kids because they love coming to my house. Now, they're all upset with me, calling me lazy and saying I'm ruining the holiday. Honestly, I'm tired of being treated like their personal chef and cleanup crew every year, but now I feel guilty for putting my foot down. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to host Thanksgiving this year? Top comments. Hold your ground. These people are mean, entitled, and lazy. I wouldn't take their calls, read their emails or texts, or otherwise engage with them. Either that, or if you do answer, just say I agree. I'm too lazy to clean, shop, cook, set the table, wash all the dishes, and clean up all the mess again after 5 years in a row of doing everything by myself while the rest of you leeches sit on your butts and don't do a damn thing. And now you have the gall to suggest that I'm required to serve you. Why don't you look in the mirror and see who's actually lazy and selfish, not to mention entitled, whiny, ungrateful? Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Their tradition is being catered to by you. They are fighting to keep that alive because all they have to do is show up, be fed, enjoy themselves and go home. You get the cost, cooking, and cleanup. I would start a new tradition, a nice vacation for you over Thanksgiving. Next story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my friends out after they made racist comments about my culture? I, 17F, am an immigrant from Pakistan. I apologize for the bad grammar in advance. Last night, I invited a group of school friends to my house for a sleepover. I was really excited to have them over because I thought I successfully got friends, despite me having a bit of an accent that I was insecure about. My grandmother was home, and she does not speak a word of English. At the beginning, when I introduced her to my friends, I got a weird vibe because I saw them laughing among themselves at her broken English. I wasn't sure at the moment, but it felt off and I shook it off. Later, when my mother called us down to dinner, one of them made a joke about the smell. My grandmother was really happy that I got friends and she cooked some traditional food for them. My friends sat down and didn't really eat the food. They picked at it and one of them asked if we can get pizza instead. My grandmother came and asked me if my friends didn't like the food, because they only picked at it. I didn't really have the heart to tell her what they were saying. I felt really left out because my friends were laughing with each other and saying how much they like pizza, pasta, and other things, obviously mocking the food that my grandmother had made. I was really frustrated and I told them to not be rude. They just giggled and said nothing more. The third incident was later that night. I was getting ready in the bathroom and they were in my room. I overheard them laughing and saying why my grandmother was wearing a costume in the house, as she was wearing a traditional dress from Pakistan. I also heard them whisper that she smelled bad. That was when I got really angry and I came out of the bathroom and exclaimed loudly for them to shut up. My friends all told me that I was going too far and they were just joking. However, I don't want them to disrespect me, my country, and my grandmother in my own house. I told them to get out of my house. They were upset and left, driving away. It was around 11 o'clock at night. I don't really know what to do now because they were my only friends and I feel like kicking them out was too much. I tried texting them afterwards and they blocked me. I don't really know how I'm going to face them in school next Monday. My grandmother was very sad at what happened and I don't have courage to tell her why I removed them from the house. I feel bad because I tell them to leave really late at night, but they do have driving licenses. Top comments. Not the a-hole. As an immigrant who has had similar experience, I empathize with you and F your friends. They come into your house, make fun of your grandma's accent, didn't even seem like they appreciated grandma's food and then call her outfit a costume? What are they, 10-year-old babies? You're 17 and I assume your friends are 17, this is just childish behavior, and then the audacity for them to block you? Please find better friends. Find people who can actually appreciate other people's cultures. You'll be much happier. Not the a-hole. I'm sorry this happened to you. It must be so disappointing after you thought you'd made friends, but these people aren't your friends. You did the right thing. You stood up for yourself. If you stay true to yourself and don't put up with anyone's crap, eventually you'll attract the right sort of people. Hold your head high. The complete disrespect is pitiful. If they confront you at school next week, just keep repeating that you don't have time for racists to come back to you when they apologize and grow up a bit. University and/or a job are right around the corner. High school children are and will be irrelevant. Give your grandmother a hug from this old, white New Zealand lady and know you have my respect. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not helping my dad's wife during my mom's parenting time? My dad and his wife are expecting a baby together. She has a 10-year-old daughter already. Dad has me, 16M. They've been together for about 7 years and married for 4. It's been 5.5 of knowing them for me. I don't like my dad's wife. I find her really bad with respecting boundaries and overly pushy. When she was still only dating my dad, she showed up to be a parent chaperone for my class field trip even though she and dad knew mom was doing it and I had already said no to her. She kept trying to make me walk closer to her than my mom too. When I ignored her mostly, she got really pissy about it. Dad told me I could have appreciated that she wanted to be there for me. When they were engaged, she made me come dress shopping with her and kept pushing for me to give feedback on the dress. I said repeatedly I didn't care. She told me I should help my new bonus mom find the perfect dress. I pulled a disgusted face and she asked what that was for. I told her she wasn't my bonus mom and I hated that title. She told me she doesn't want to be my stepmom. She wants to be my bonus aka second mom, and I didn't have to like it, but I had to lump it, and one day I'll love her back. When schools were virtual because of COVID and I had to go to my grandma's house while mom worked, she showed up at grandma's house and tried to take me to her and dad's house. My grandma threatened to call the police on her because she wasn't supposed to be there. A few times she brought her daughter to try and make us give in. Didn't work. So yeah, I don't like her. I just about tolerate her. But I don't care about her at all and I'm not super worried for her now. Her pregnancy is high risk and she was diagnosed with a pretty risky illness/condition. It's her kidney and something else. But after she found out she was pregnant, she started getting really sick, and this diagnosis makes the pregnancy high risk too. She goes to the hospital 3 times a week for treatment and has to stay in bed when at home. When dad has parenting time, he makes me get lunch ready for me, his wife and her daughter, and I'm supposed to see if she needs anything. I do it as a chore, not because I care. But now they expect me to go to his house for a bit after school when it's mom's parenting time and make lunch for her and her daughter. I refused and mom had my back. Dad told me I should be doing more to help because this is my family and my unborn half-sibling at risk and my bonus mom. When I didn't give in, dad told me I should be more mature and understand compassion and helping family. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole. It's not your responsibility to take care of your stepmom and her daughter. You are not a parent, and at your age you should still get to be a kid. Forget that whole be mature nonsense. There must be others who can help, or they can hire someone. Worst case. Opie replies. Other family go in and out to help, but they think I should be doing my part equally. Not the a-hole. Tell your father that you're not his slave, his wife is not your bonus anything, and you are only there because you are forced to be. If he wants someone to take care of his wife, he can step up his damn self, not try and bully you into doing it for him. That is despicable parenting. Shame on him. Frankly, at 16, you can decide where you go and who you see. If you don't want to go to your dad's, you don't have to. The police won't do anything about it, and if your dad takes your mother to court, the judge will ask you what you want and then act accordingly. Think about it. Schools do not allow random strangers to show up and participate as chaperones. Opie replies, I know. I'm pretty sure Dad either called on her behalf or let her call to sign up. My teacher thought she and Dad were married at that point and kept calling her my stepmom. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel HB Reddit Stories.